Namaste. Good morning, beautiful humans. So it is, I'm just going to say it, it's butt nippy this morning. It's about 7 below zero this morning, Fahrenheit. And not sure what the wind chill is, somewhere 18 or so below. But last night, we got down to minus 16 Fahrenheit, wind chill minus 24 or something like that. We were lucky it really wasn't windy because it could have been a lot worse. But what I want to talk about, I wrote down a few things, and I know this is important because a lot of people, and the wife and I bought this mobile home recently, and a huge lot. But basically, we're making a camp out of it. But something I wanted to mention was, and I wrote down a few points. Keeping your water from freezing in a mobile home. There's a lot of things. Like last night, it got, like I say, it was pretty cold. And mobile homes, of course, are notorious for the water lines freezing quickly, especially if you're in an older mobile home, one with the thinner built walls. Like the ones they built in the 60s, they had 2x2 walls. And they started going with 2x4 walls, and I think like in the 90s or so, I'm not sure when, but they went with 2x6 walls. Fortunately, in our case, we do have, our home has the 2x6 wall, so we've got that extra little bit of insulation. But a few things to go over on here, and I just want to make a quick video on what to do if you're living in a mobile home, or if you just happen to be purchasing one or just moved to one that was already established. But the first and foremost thing you want to do is check the skirting. Obviously, your underpinning around that place, it needs to be tight. Anywhere you see where there's an area where wind or snow or anything like that can get in, you want to seal that up. Even if it's just a piece of plastic over it, something to keep that wind from getting up underneath that home. So even if you pile snow, if you whatever you can get a hold of, you want to try and get everything you can around the base of that home. Yeah. So that's going to be first and foremost. You want to get underneath the home. You want to look. There's going to be an area between the ground and your flooring where that pipe's coming out of the ground and into your home. You want to make sure that's covered, and you can do that in a few different ways. There's an electric tape that you can put around that, and you want to do that first, and then after you put that electric tape on there, you want to cover it with the foam insulation. I think you can buy those in like 10-foot sections at Lowe's. It's pretty common. It comes in different sizes, so you want to measure your line. It's going to be probably a 1/2 inch or something like that coming into your home. So you want to cover that as well. Yeah, make sure that's nice and covered, and then you could even throw some more pink insulation or something around it as well. Anything you can get around that line as it comes out of the ground into your home, you're in good shape. That's going to help you out a ton. So what else we got here? Inside faucets. Like last night, guys, I had a drip on each one of my faucets. I've got the 2 bathrooms in the kitchen faucet. I had all of those I left on. Just with a little drip. And that's not something you want to do, obviously, if you don't have a lot of, I don't know if you're on a well or city water. Of course, you're paying for the water bill, and if you're on a well, you may not have a huge amount of water down there to be able to do that. But if you do, and you can leave those faucets running just as a drip, that little bit of drip will make a huge difference. So if you can do that, that's also a plus. Also, on your faucets, and wherever that faucet is, it's going to be under a cabinet. So in the evenings and the nights especially, open them cabinet doors and let that heat get into that water line, because that's also going to help heat that line as it goes down into the floor. Yeah, so that's another thing to take into consideration. And another one, myself, I've got a wood stove in this home. Just recently put it in, but the home has a heat unit in it. And most mobile homes that are built, when they build that mobile home, it has that single trunk line that goes all the way through the base of that mobile home, carrying your heat to your vents. In that same area, that's where they pack all your water lines. Yeah, so you want to run that heater at least 2 or 3 or 4 times through the night. So if you're burning with wood stove like I am, make sure that you still get up and kick that heat on every now and then, and let it warm that area underneath there, because that's what that essentially is. Put in the trunk line. They pack all that in there so that creates a nice warm spot for those lines to sit in. So you want to run your heat every now and then. What else have I got here? Run them open. Open the cabinet doors and pay attention to temperatures, gang. I mean, you know, it's probably first and foremost as well. Make sure if it's going to be really, you know, if you're getting down around 10 above and below. So when you get down to 10 degrees, start paying attention. You know, especially if you're in the mobile homes with the like the 2x2 walls and things like that, you really want to start paying attention about that time to make sure that you've got these things in order. Yeah. And I think with those things and some careful consideration of, you know, being careful with what you do. Oh, one other thing I'll mention, because in my case, I have a well. And if you have a well, your water comes from the well pump and it'll come into a tank, reservoir, that holding tank. Now, myself, my tank is in my garage, but my garage isn't heated. So I've got a box, just a 2x4 with the plywood sides box built around that tank. And I keep a 60-watt light, you know, clear from anything, but I keep that light burning on the nights when it's going to be cold. And that helps throw some heat on that tank. I also have that the inner line of, just like the insulation in here, I've got 2x4s in there. They're insulated around that. So it's an insulated capsule around the tank with a light source in there to keep the heat. Yeah. So that's one other tip, and that's something, if you do something like that, be sure and be careful. Make sure your light source is away from everything and it's in a big enough box it can just generate some heat and not start anything on fire. So there's a few tips, gang. I hope this helps you out, and stay warm, stay safe. Much love and respect. Wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.